why in the hell are you taking me to Arizona? Don't argue with me, you're going to Arizona. So I remember literally sleeping on it, and the next day I asked again. I heard, it's time to go. You've gone complacent. You want to sleep in your life. There's nothing more you can do here in Seattle. I need to now take you somewhere else. I need to rip your reality out from underneath you, and I need to take you to where you need to go. And there's something for you. Trust me. And I remember going, oh, I did. I said yes to something. And now I'm hearing very clearly I got to go. So I began to slowly begin to sell all my things and to leave my job and all this stuff. And I literally packed everything up in my truck that I could get in my truck, put my Jack Russell in the back, flipped my rear view mirror up, and drove south and never looked back. Not a clue where I was going. Not a clue what was in store for me. Had not a clue. I was walking into perfect blind faith. And I remember every mile I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? It's getting really, really desolate. It's getting hotter. It's getting hotter. Why Arizona? More and more and warmer and warmer. And every mile was like 5 degrees up. And it was like, wow. So I arrived. And it's all because I said yes to my life. So, this is what I absolutely know, is that every person feels awkward and clumsy in their life. And in the beginning, we begin sometimes to shut down. And a part of it is because we feel awkward and clumsy, and we shut down because we don't feel safe. How many of you have shut down in your life for certain reasons because you didn't feel safe where you were in your life? Either in a relationship, or at work, or for me when I was in school. And I didn't feel safe, so you shut it down, right? Because you don't feel safe. That is the most important thing that you need to do, is to feel safe, to find your purpose and to find your voice, is to find a safe place. When I moved here and I finally arrived here, I let go of all my stuff. I let go of it, and I had to find a safe place to be. And where I found a safe place was at my mom's home. And I was living in a solar-powered house in the middle of the desert for up to a year, and I went home. I went back to the womb is what I did. And my mom took me in, and I lived there for an entire year, and I recreated myself. Every single day was about recreating myself, and I felt awkward, and I felt clumsy, but the big thing is that I did feel safe. And I felt safe, and that's what helped me find my voice, because she encouraged me to be the gift that I was supposed to be on this earth. So, Tiffany, have you ever shut down in your life?
Oh, yeah.
And did you ever feel awkward and clumsy when you first began to say yes to your life? And tell us a little bit about when you said yes and how the awkward and clumsiness came from that and how that felt for you.
How I said yes?
Yeah, you said yes. What'd you say yes to? And you also felt a little awkward and clumsy once you said yes, correct?
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, I still feel a little awkward and clumsy every time I speak in front of people like this. But when I said yes, great things started to happen. Random opportunities. This guitar that I'm playing, this is a $10 garage sale guitar.
Oh.
That within a week after I said yes to my music, after I wrote that song, the next life coaching class, I had an opportunity where I met someone who offered to record a CD for me. And all of this happened within 1 week of saying yes. So it was pretty
So you're telling me that you wrote the song and then you didn't have a guitar,
No.
and you then walked into a garage sale and that guitar was there for $10. Was it in your budget?
Well, I had to splurge a little.
Yeah. But the point of it is that you obviously were needing to have a guitar that you could afford, so the universe supplied that for you, didn't it? Good. So there was a time in your life that you had to dance in your life, right? And feel a little awkward and clumsy. A little bit like the albatross, right? To try to find your wings. Do you want to sing about that a little bit? Let's give her a hand.
I search for you, I stumble sometimes. These words hidden deep are full of landmines, and they're blowing up. Each step that I take, I feel my foundation quake, and I'm dancing clumsily through life, trying to understand, questioning why. Whoa, the dance of life. Whoa, the dance of life. Every day I learn something I didn't know before. Always looking for another chance, another door. Sometimes I feel my heart is restless, my heart is restless. And I'm dancing clumsily through life, trying to understand, questioning why. Whoa, the dance of life. Whoa, the dance of life. Like a rock being thrown back and forth in a riverbed when it feels like you're falling apart. You can still find the harmony in all these things. You can always find home in your heart.
Yay. Thank you, Tiffany. Dance of life. So, how many of you like Oprah Winfrey? You know I love Oprah, right? Can't help myself, right? She's like my biggest mentor, and I never met her before, but I feel like I know her, you know? So, I'm going to use some of her quotes that I heard her talk about recently on this new show on the OWN network, and she talks about her masterclass. Have anyone seen the new interviews masterclass? It's insane. It's amazing stuff, and if you have a chance to listen to the interviews, and her interview was particularly amazing. And what she says is, how do you know if something is your purpose? So let's just talk about that. Who'd be willing? How do you know something's your purpose? What do you think? Yeah.
You can't get out of your mind and your heart. You can feel the mind and the heart in it constantly.
Beautiful.
Just know that you're drawn and drawn and drawn. And it's in the quiet time. When you're
Absolutely.
You can feel it, and it makes
It's a
you
feeling.
whole.
It's a
It
feeling.
makes you whole when you feel it.
Good. What else? Yes, back there. Barry?
When you're doing whatever it is that is your purpose, time stands still.
Yeah, absolutely. Over here? Yeah.
It comes out of you naturally.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what Oprah says, because I think Oprah knows everything, she says it might feel like the right space for you, and it feels like this is what I should be doing, and this is how I'm supposed to feel, and this is where I feel most like myself, and this is where I feel at home. Profound. And I feel that it's that. It's like this moment where you feel at home. It's ironic because when I found my purpose or I found my voice, I had to go home first to be with my mom. And that's where I began to cultivate myself and to find myself again. She also, so the question would be, I guess, to you, is, you already said, where do you feel these feelings? So what I'd like to know is, Who'd be willing to say, where do you feel these feelings? Like, so tell me what you feel. So who'd be willing to say, I feel that feeling where? Who'd be willing to say it? Yeah, where do you feel it?
I actually prefer rising up and
Okay.
from my feet to my.
But where do you feel? Like, what are you doing?
When I do
Yeah.
I feel it, I'm singing or I'm playing guitar.
Singing or playing guitar. Fantastic. Who else has a way that they know they feel that? Who's willing to, yes?
Well, when I sing or play the guitar, it makes me, it's like this tickling feeling, I start giggling inside.
Yeah. So it's again, singing and playing. We have a lot of singers tonight. You want to be a Tiffany, it looks like, huh? So what other ways? Yes, back there.
When I write and connect with other people, I can feel it energy from a resource really, and it feels like it's looking to hear what I need to hear.
Excellent. Yes.
And I say with plants.
With plants? Good. You can see that? Amazing. What else? Yeah, Jody? You're painting. Yeah, you're a good painter. We know that, don't we? Good. Yes.
In the classroom.
Teaching or actually taking classes?
I've taught about 45 years.
Good. So you know you've been doing that for a while. And you feel at home there.
And I still like it.
That's right. So beautiful. So this is what I know about what, and I'm going to probably give you a thought that you may have not thought about before, and it's this. When everyone has a pattern in their life and a divine order to it. And I found this interesting because what Oprah says is when you begin to see the pattern, this is how you determine what your purpose is. Now some of you may be wondering, what's that mean? What do I mean by the patterns? Let's look at this. So some people don't know their purpose, and if you don't know your purpose, your goal is to figure that out as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're just wandering around here. Do you get that? You're just wandering around here. So the quicker that you find your purpose and stop wandering around, the quicker that you're going to get to the business that you're here to do. Did you get that? How many of you have just been wandering in your life? I mean, it's not a judgment. It's just, you've had a time in your life where you were wandering, right? It's just, I think it's natural. It's part of our human experience is to wander sometimes, to figure out what it is that we want to do in our life. We have to understand what we don't like in order to understand what we do like. And so the quicker you do that, the faster you're going to be able to get about your business. And I love that quote. So here were my patterns, and I literally, I want to say this to you. When I was building this talk, I literally realized this just yesterday. Just yesterday I got this, because I remember hearing this quote and I thought, okay, and then as I began to build this talk, I sort of have a relationship with my higher power at that moment that I'm developing a talk, and it's like I'm literally sitting in the lap of God, if you want to say it that way. And it's amazing. And what I realized is this is my pattern. So I started off as a natural helper. Anyone was a natural helpers? Yeah? So I was like nominated to be a natural helper. I was also in the 4-H, so I was with animals all the time. I was a really good listener. I have a story in my first book about how I was my mom's therapist from a little tiny boy. And I mean, my mom would she'd always call me in and she'd tell me all the things about her life. And I used to hate it. And I'd be like, ugh. And I would just sit there and listen and listen and listen and listen. I became a really good listener. Student council, I was like nominated when I was like 10 to be in the student council, and I didn't want to be in the student council. That's the worst fear possible. And I have a lot to say, and my family has a lot to say. I come from an Italian family. You got to meet my dad. You think I talk a lot? My dad's way more talkative than I am. So I come from a family that just talks a lot, and we used to hate it. We used to be like, shut up. But it never happened, right? And like I told you earlier, I was the oldest of 3 boys, and so I was always a leader. I was always